Well, I'm Juan from Bolivia. I think I'm the only one from Bolivia in this convention. The only one that doesn't speak English. Sorry for my English, by the way. And the only one that's not wearing a suit. So it's going to be tough. Ah, no, there is another one over there. Well, this is Mobi. You know the problem. If you're here, you already know the problem. So Mobi is a micro-mobility shared mobility system software and software as a service, manufacturing of electric vehicles, and lithium batteries. Yeah, we do all that thing for Bolivia. You know, in Bolivia we have the largest reserve of lithium in the world. So that's a very important thing of our company. We believe in a new model of micro-mobility software as a service. As you know, ride-sharing mobilities have a first wave, very, very big, and the pandemic stopped that. But we believe that it's coming a second wave. You only have to see the thing that happening in Europe, the thing that happening in India, in China. So we believe that a second wave of micro-mobility service is coming, and we have to be ready in LATAM for this second wave. So we have a software, we have a hardware, and we have a Mobi center that we control all the cities with our software. We have hardware. We manufacturing electric motorcycles, two kinds of electric motorcycles. We manufacturing one kind of scooters and bicycles, electric bicycles and traditional bicycles. We have a software. We have a software as a service, as a partner, and we have a Mobi center. We are on the only company in the world that we integrate 5 kinds of vehicles in our software. We have scooters, bicycles, traditional bicycles, electric bicycles, motorcycles, and now we are launching car sharing. So it's very important. Right now we are in 2 countries, in Bolivia and Paraguay, in 2 cities, Asunción, Santa Cruz, and Tarija. And we are launching next country. We're launching Uruguay, we're launching Lima, and we're launching Panama as well. We're launched with a fleet partner model. What is that fleet partner model? We got entrepreneur from local entities in this country, and we partner with this person. So this is not only for the money. This is only because the government affairs in this kind of service is very important. So if we have a local entrepreneur that takes Mobi with a local entities, is quite more easy. We believe that in Paraguay, in Asunción, so it's more easy if it's a local entrepreneur. So that's because we got a fleet partner model. This is our number. Only 7 months of operations. More than 25K users. More than 60K total rides, 60K in revenues, a very low cost of acquisition, of course, because we are not raising a lot of money. We only raised almost in pre-seed $1 million in the past year, so we are now raising more money. We are very confident because we are already closed 2 tickets for our pre-A round, so we're good over there. Market opportunity. We focus in the second-tier cities. This is very important for us because the second-tier cities are the cities that most need this kind of service, and of course the competition landscape is quite low. We have a benchmark with Beard. I think the people of here is over here. Beard is like a role model for us, and they have a fleet managing operating in long-tail cities too, and it's going very, very well. That we are doing that. We are doing that in LATAM. This is our team. This is our investor. This is our advisors. We have a very good team. A very good investors. Our traction in Santa Cruz, Bolivia is my hometown. So we are launching over there 7 months ago. We're now online in Tarija, it's another city of Bolivia. We are now online we are going to be online in Asunción next month, next Q, sorry. And we are going to be online in Lima, Montevideo, and Panama as well. This is already done. This is our unit economics. I know I don't have too much time, so, well, that's Mobi. And this is our electric motorcycle.
Okay, perfect. Stop the timer. Well, we can continue. We'll go straight into questions. You'll get an extra 29 seconds. So who wants to go first? Olaf. Start the timer, yeah.
Is it on? Okay.
It's on.
Can you just explain your business model? I didn't fully understand it. You manufacture 5 different types of vehicle,
Yes.
and you got a franchise model?
Yes, like a franchise model to make the fruit trip in Latin. We have a fleet partner model, and we are associated with a local entity, and we provide the vehicles and the software.
So you provide them the vehicles and the software, and they operate their services in all these different
Yes,
places?
yes, the vehicle, the hardware and the software.
Okay.
Yes.
Another question here for G.
Tell me more about the motorcycle.
Yeah, the motorcycle is the Seika one. It's a first electric motorcycle that make in Bolivia with batteries of Bolivia, with a lithium of Bolivia. We have a partnership with the government, ELV. We are the only private company that has this partnership to get access to the Bolivian lithium. So yeah, this electric motorcycle that going to 60 kilometers per hour, have 100 kilometers for autonomy, and yeah, we now have 20 in the street that people can rent it. And our software, our service is complementary to the transport. So it's very cheaper. I think we have the source. Yeah,
Where'd
no,
you get from?
70% of the motorcycle is from Bolivia, and the components and the parts and the things that in Bolivia we can make, we trade for China. Yes.
Alex, I see.
Could you flesh out the business model a little more? You lease or sell the bikes to local franchisees, and then you generate revenue per trip? How does that work?
Yeah, actually, we start a company with a partnership, 50%. So we sell our Bolivian entity, sell the electric vehicle to this company that we have associated with the local entity or the local partner. So yeah, Mobi Central, Mobi Bolivia headquarters sell the vehicles and charge a fee, a monthly fee for the service and the operate and the marketing and the all the kind of operation. The local entity in the country, I don't know, in Paraguay, in Asunción, that we are live, only do the ops the live ops in the street. That put the right the vehicles in the right places, charging the vehicles, all that things.
Any other question? Olaf?
Yes.
Just a question about manufacturing and designing vehicles. Can you talk through that process? It's quite hard to manufacture vehicles that last for many years and last well, and to design them, and also many different kinds. Yeah,
actually, we started the company in 2019. We have our research and development department. We have an advisory board from companies like Ola that help us to make the right product. And yeah, we manufacturing the 100% of the vehicle in Bolivia, and 100% of the battery. Only some components, like I mentioned before, came from China, but it's the small components. And yes, we take like 2 years and a half to put the first electric bike in the street.
Okay, we have time for one last question, if one of the judges.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'm incredibly excited to be here. Thought I'd introduce you to Communify. I'm with Communify. What we do and I'll just jump right into the business model. Seems to be the questions. We are a commuter data scoring platform that helps employers, buildings, landlords, cities, and municipalities make more informed commuter decisions for their commuter programs, getting folks from home to the office. Basically what we do, we've created a commuter score. So essentially it's 0 to 100, where we would score people's commutes and help them save money. We're here in Florida. We work with Fortune 50 companies all the way up to small 200, 100 person companies. Coast to coast, we're integrating internationally as well into UK and Australia. But essentially what we do is help companies from a fiscal standpoint reduce their wasted spend on transportation for their employees. Most of the time, this is in employee benefits, but the best way I like to explain the business model and what our commuter score does is by comparing it to a FICO score. Show of hands real quick. Everybody knows what a FICO score is. Do you know your FICO score? There's a ways to improve your FICO score, but not everybody knows how. There's a company called Credit Karma, and Credit Karma will show you specifically how to improve your score, and that's exactly what we do at Communify. We show you a commuter score and then ways to improve it. The companies that we work with are saving $10,000 a month, tens of thousands of dollars a month. Some are saving hundreds of thousands of dollars a month by reducing these spends. And basically the problem is more than just money. What we've learned and what's generally known in the industry is that good employees are leaving their jobs based on bad commutes. It's one of the top 3 reasons why people leave their jobs. And we are developing this software and launching it to really curtail that, to show these employees that there's better ways to get to and from the office. And we're reducing spend for the employer. Essentially, what this all comes down to is just data. Data and how you use that data is the most important thing. What we are really good at, and we became this gold standard, some of our customers have called us gold standard of commuter data in the industry. We created visualization tools to make it easy to understand for leaders to make those informed decisions to really reduce that spend. Because our brains are designed to process visual data almost 60,000 times faster than we can text data. And so data is so key into making these decisions. But what we do is really understand how the data works. So basically what happens is that each employee is given their own dashboard, and so they get to see exactly how they commute to and from the office. So we collect the data with a survey. We show them exactly what they're doing right now, if it's a single occupancy vehicle or if they're taking a ride share or bike or sometimes even public transportation to work. We show them a menu of options, everything that they have right in available to them, specifically from their home to their place of office. And then we score them, that 0 to 100, and we show them exactly where they could improve their commuter score, how to encourage them and incentivize them to get out of these single occupancy vehicles and show them that there's more ways to commute and better ways to commute and more sustainable ways to commute. These are just examples, but what we do is to have this individual score. We also score the entire employer. We score the entire building, and therefore we can go up to roll that up to cities and states as well. Imagine comparing the scores of Miami to the scores of Tampa. And so we're doing this company-wide, individually, and citywide. All these scores are all aggregated all together. So we have lots and lots of incredible commuter behavioral data. And from an employer standpoint, how leadership makes use of all this is that it's all rolled up into these visualization tools. So for instance, we have heat maps where we can forecast and model what would it be like if we had say a parking cash out program or a bike to work program. We understand who would be most likely to have participation in these programs, and we would also encourage and incentivize those that have really tough commutes. We would show that, hey, maybe it makes more sense to offer parking cash out programs, meaning people that are taking up valuable, expensive parking spaces if they only live a mile away when they could be taking an Uber, or heck, maybe taking one of these scooters that we see out here, right to work. But it wouldn't make sense if there was somebody who had to drop off their kids that had to commute 50 miles away. So we have to take a look at this data and really make sense of it to help save the company money, reduce the time it takes to commute, and of course, be more sustainable and more green in the way that we think about creating this new economy, this city of the future. Essentially, what we do here is really help out with sustainability and ESG reporting as we move forward and we want to become leaders and really stewards of the environment. Really, we're seeing more and more of these reporting requirements and compliance, and our software makes it very easy to pull those reports. And lastly, we provide all commuter amenities. So entire company's commuter benefits program can be rolled up right into what we offer, just launched as a commuter benefits card. So anything from Ubers, public transportation, even ride shares can all be put on this card, tracked, monitored, and scored. So without further ado, I just wanted to introduce you guys to our business model, and I'll leave the rest open for questions.
Perfect. Okay, over to questions then. We can start the timer. Questions straight away. TJ? It's working, yes.
Excellent. Great presentation. Just quick question about remote work and how are you guys addressing that?
Yeah, it's really interesting, right? So right before the pandemic, we were rocking and rolling, then boom, everybody works from home, which is great because then everybody has a 100 commuter score. So what we've learned since then is that now there's a hybrid workspace. People are coming back, remote work. Sometimes they have to come into the office Tuesdays and Thursdays, but other folks are coming in Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. So our software identifies who those folks are, and so maybe we can have one parking spot for 2 employees, reducing sometimes $200-300 a month for parking spaces per employee in a building. That adds up and saves a lot of money for the company. It also helps with reducing the amount of time for commuting, and essentially that's just one example, but it's all data specific to the company.
Lillian, yeah.
Great product. I could totally see this being really useful. But break down the revenue model. How do you get paid?
Sure. Lastly, I knew that question was coming. It's a simple per head model, so it's $2 per user per month. So you think of a company that's got 100 employees, it's $200 a month, 1,000 employees, $2,000 a month. It's really competitive, doesn't really cost much, and the savings pay for itself usually within the first month.
Another question?
So you operate mainly within the U.S., right?
We are Boulder, Colorado based, very hippie, green based, but yes, we are U.S. based, but we are expanding internationally.
Where are you expanding to?
To the UK. Also, we have a pilot program in Australia, and we're about to launch in Singapore, Southeast Asia as well.
Good morning, Miami. Wow, really neat to be here at CoMotion. This is an inspired conference, and I've already enjoyed walking around and seeing all of the other mobility solutions. I'm here to talk about aviation, the third dimension that John talked about this morning. Aviation as a mobility service of not just the modern future city, but I think to the last question, the hybrid work-life balance that we are all afforded and given post-pandemic now, where we can live where we want, we can work where we want, but the last thing that is missing is perhaps the connective tissue and point-to-point air mobility to get you to 5,000 local airfields in your backyard. A little bit about me before I run through the presentation, because I think you'll see where the company comes from in a very quick bio. I'm an old geeky pilot. I started flying when I was 10 years old off of a dirt road in New Hampshire in a fabric-covered plane. And I ended up being the youngest pilot in the military when I got my wings and flew Blackhawks in the Army for 9 years. Got out and flew ambulances all over the West, including Alaska for a while, and came back to Portland, Oregon, where we're based, and started a company called Skyward while I was on standby duty as an ambulance pilot in a helicopter. Skyward, as a geeky pilot, was my vision of how you could take all the rules of the road of aviation I knew as an analog meat servo, we like to say, moving the sticks in an airplane through the heavily regulated airspaces of the world and condense those into software that ultimately drones could connect to and be managed as a network themselves in those regulated airspaces. And gratefully, Verizon shared my vision, and after $8 million of venture capital, they bought the company in 2017, and I sold it to them with 25 folks in Portland, and now it's a 125-person division of Verizon that I am grateful to say, and pardon the pun, is pointing the Verizon network skyward now and connecting some of the first aviation to it. So you can see that gave me the platform for an on-demand, people-moving aviation service that finally employs these supercomputers that we're all holding in our pockets right now that ubiquitously connect us to all things. Trust me, has not been applied to aviation and certainly on-demand air charter systems in any way yet. So let's get to it. We are that operating system. The operating system of the advanced air mobility market that you've heard so much about through companies like, I'll go one forward, Joby and Beta and Archer. And of course, you've heard about on-demand and air charter through maybe NetJets and Wheels Up, and now some newcomers like ExoJet. It's a hugely burgeoning market. And ultimately, what it takes to be the operating system, when we say, of this market, today and into tomorrow, is both a network software, a mobile experience like I alluded to in our pockets, and ultimately an aviation company that knows, again, how to operate in this heavily regulated, rules of the road market. And honestly, it should be, because you trust it, and you should trust it with your families, as I do. And that robust inner structure, the infrastructure of networking these aircraft is fundamentally an aviation operation. And we do that first. And we've spent the last 3 years building an aviation operation around these two particular aircraft. These are the state of the art today. The Pilatus PC-12 moves 8 people at 300 miles per hour in pressurized comfort in a large cabin for those 8 people, very comfortable. And in the hands of a trusted senior pilot, this is a point-to-point machine that can get you to any airfield you've ever seen in that backyard and in your town, or even on the north rim of the Grand Canyon in this machine. The Cirrus SR-22 is a carbon fiber, glass cockpit, state-of-the-art. Truly, I call this the Tesla of the 4-seat general aviation category. It's a step change and uses every new technology that is heavily regulated and certified into the state-of-the-art today and available to us off the shelf. So we want to network these vehicles in the hands of very senior trusted pilots under an FAA-regulated certification called Part 135. On-demand air charter has been regulated and understood for a long time now. We're just applying, again, the state-of-the-art in software and mobile and aviation technologies as they are today to bring them into this networked future. And fundamentally, the Achilles heel of all air charter services today is the empty leg. 40% of even NetJets or Wheels Up, a saturated network of on-demand aircraft, are flying 40% empty legs today. So that's what we're going after with software. It's a traveling salesman problem. It's a machine learning problem, honestly. And to the right there, the after, you can see we won't fly as many empty legs, because when the first passenger instantiates a flight on demand in their phone from A to B, we're taking a bet in the price that we give them up front that we're going to book B to A back. And that replaces and is a novel concept in air charter today where you could actually transact for a price up front. If you've ever tried to do this, and I'd encourage any investor that's interested in us to try to do it, you'll realize that there is no push button capability to order any charter service today at all. Of course, the mobile. That's where we start as well. We bring it to you in your phone. We say that we're an experience company first and foremost. We want to streamline and bring joy back to the mobility experience from door to door, bring joy back to air travel. The old geeky pilot in me has always wanted to share it and take you flying with me and show you how magnificent and empowering aviation can be. We want to put that power in your hands and let you summons it. How do we make money? You're going to ask me. Well, we make profit margins 15 to 20% direct to consumer on those prices. So when we transact for the price on one of those 2 aircraft up front on our app, that holds a house will always win probability in it of what is the chance of an empty leg, how much overhead do we hold in it. But it's, again, a direct-to-consumer price you can pay for. You can go to KinectAir.com right now. Even though we're just on the cusp of flying, we can't offer you that service today. You can check our prices, you can build a route, you can see what it would cost. It's time. Software licensing, you can see them right there. There's the market.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the differentiators.
I'm sure we'll have some questions about that. So over to questions. Who wants to start on Olaf?
Just to understand your long-term play, your short-term strategy is to be like Uber for planes, right? Like you book a flight but you don't want to operate that service yourself. You want to be the operations layer that aggregates other fleets over time, but in order to get it going, you have to launch with your own fleet. That's right?
Very intuitive, yes. The core kernel, if you will, is our own Part 135 operation. We build all of the standards of what we call operational control, a training and safety culture at the core that you can trust in this brand. And yeah, we operate these aircraft under the noble leadership of my chief aviation officer in the audience here, Tim Williamson, to be a trusted service first and foremost, and to build a software platform that we operate and dispatch on in that networked way that I'm talking about, that of course we can invite in the next phase basically, and we already are, what we call trusted network operators. So if they can kind of meet the standards of what we establish as this for operations, and I would trust my kids flying in this airplane, then we'll put it on the KinectAir network, and that's when we go, of course, more software-oriented in building the network and expanding it. Very intuitive. Yeah.
So the fleet is boundary to these two models that you like, the Pilatus and the Cirrus. But if the software licensing business, when that ramps up, the airline operation is going to go away?
Oh, no, I don't think so. It was more about this sort of phase scaling program. How does this become a global service as impactful as Airbnb? I often like to say that I have the ambitions of putting together an un-airline, a networked un-airline, on-demand mesh network of aircraft that's as impactful as a cross between Pan Am and Airbnb. I want to basically give you that same simplicity of summoning up this point-to-point air travel method in your phone, but basically take all of the complexity of that and make it simple all over the world. And I come from a background of basically recursive rule making in global aviation, and luckily we have a really good scaffold to make these rules recursive, to move aircraft in any country that's under the UN, ICAO. 193 member states follow the same rules of the road, and so we're able to again ensconce them in software, and then start to bring in the actual hardware, training, real pilots that fly them in that trusted network operator model, and they have to conform to our network. But software is what ultimately gives them the demand that makes them want to join us.
So you basically want to transfer price savings to consumers that are created by using the network more efficiently, right?
Correct.
But you got a high operational standard. How much cheaper do you think it would be than standard flight chartering service? Because I feel like you got to grow the market a lot in order for this to make sense.
Yeah, so benchmark for you today, Wheels Up, NetJets, any on-demand charter service that you would use today operates at about somewhere between $10 to $20 per passenger seat mile is a very distilled metric to look at. We are coming to market on those two aircraft at $1.50 per passenger seat mile. And that's a conservative number that still holds about 40% empty legs in it, and ahead of a network saturation where we can actually start to saturate the model A to B, B to A. So we'll drive that price even further down. And when we bring in the electrified aircraft of the future, we'll drive it even further down. So it goes from a 0.1% demographic today, households that make $5 million or more. And when we come to market in the next quarter, basically actually offering the service at $1.50 per passenger seat mile, that's households that make $180,000 or more. So 2 orders of magnitude more market than is currently served by a charter, just as we go to market, and we'll drive it down even further into the bell curve.
Great.
Democratizing
well,
it.
Congratulations. Yeah. Thank you so much. Round of applause for Jonathan for KinectAir. I also really wanted to thank Enterprise Florida for their support. Their partnership with the M2 Challenge. We're really delighted to be talking about innovation in the state of innovation, Florida. So thank you.